Hi, I'm Christine from Vancouver Island, BC, Canada. This is my second trip here. Amazing as always. Two things that happened last night, and I'll try and keep it short. Last night in the meadow, we were playing music, and Wendy and I heard some movement to the 9 o'clock position, and decided to get up and stand there and look off to the 9 o'clock position, and saw little red sparks of light and movement, and it sounded like they were 2 to 3 feet in front of us. And Wendy had said she saw more red lights, and which I didn't see, but I certainly heard them there, and that was really cool. And the second thing that happened, everyone had gone to bed, and Deb and I were up and going to the washroom, and I noticed a light to the right side of the porta potties, and I was looking off into the woods trying to figure out what that was, and had Deb come over and say, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Are you seeing this light? And she said, yeah. And I'm like, is it moving? It looks like it's moving. Well, maybe it's the neighbor. So do you want to go up to the road with me, and we'll check it out and do a little detective work? And so we walked up the road, and as we walked up the road, or the driveway to the road, we couldn't see anything to the right. The light had gone. So we walked up to the road, and then we proceeded down the road and heard the frogs as we walked. Saw the neighbor's light on, but it was a faint yellowy kind of, someone left the night light on in the living room, and it didn't move around. And then we came down the driveway here, walked back along the path to the meadow, and right back at the same spot, there's the light again. And we watched it for a while, and it would get light, and it would kind of move around ever so slightly. And then Deb said she had to go lie down. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stay up and watch this. This is really cool. And as I'm standing there watching it, it's getting brighter, and it's splitting into two, and then it's coming together lighter. It almost looks like a really dense chandelier shape, and then it kind of looked like a disco ball for a while. And then I started saying, do you want me to stay up and watch you? And it would kind of bob around, and like, or should I go to bed? And then it would bob around again. So I took it as, well, it's kind of up to me if I want to stay up or go lie down. And I probably watched that for half an hour in just total amazement. Like, I'm actually seeing this light bobbing around the forest, going up and then down, and then floating over this way, and then bobbing kind of, and I actually heard somebody using the porta potty, and I thought, I gotta go get them. I gotta get these guys to come see this. And it was John, and as he was coming back to his cot, I came up to him, you gotta see this, you gotta come see this. So I brought him over to where I was standing. I said, do you see that light? And he confirmed that he saw the light. Now I said, do you see it moving? He goes, yeah, it seems to be moving. I said, yeah, it's just amazing. And I kept watching it, and bobbing around, going down low, and going up high, and bouncing around. And then I looked, and John had already left to go back to the cot. I'm like, I'm going to stay up as long as I can and watch this. This is absolutely amazing. I can't believe I'm seeing this. And it just went on, and I was talking to it, and and it's bouncing around, and it was beautiful. And then it looked like two little eyes that kind of would float through the forest, and I thought, my back started killing me, and I'm actually like leaning over trying to stretch my back out, and I'm like, I can't go to sleep now. I'm wide awake, and this is happening, and I'm just getting lower and lower and lower, and then thought maybe I should go and lie down before my back totally goes out. And after I had said that, it started to fade. The lights just started to dim a little bit, and I walked back to the cot. I could still kind of see them from my cot before I sat down on it, and it just kind of like dimmed right out, and then that was it, and got in my cot. And actually after Deb went and lied down, I heard what sounded like someone turned a hose on over here, where there was water running or something. And then when I got to the cot, the water had stopped, or someone shut the hose off, or stopped having a shower at whatever time it was, 2 in the morning. And I thought that was really cool. Got in my sleeping bag and I was out, slept great. It was awesome. Thank you for having me here, and thank you to Xanue for the experience, and thank you to all of you. It's been wonderful, and I can't wait to come back.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Debbie. I'm from Bonita, Utah. This is my first time here. It has been amazing. It's just, sorry, I wasn't going to get emotional, but I went down to I got here Saturday, I went down to the meadow, all kinds of orbs, came back up. I got to go stand in front of Sarita, but I didn't get any energy things this weekend at all. We were in here doing the interviews yesterday, and I can't remember who I was sitting by. All of a sudden we heard a voice behind us, and I said, "Did you hear that?" She said, "Yeah." So then, let's see, last night we went down up to the upper meadow, and a lot of orbs again. Then I came back to the house, and I was walking up past the garage, and I was by myself, and dark. I didn't have my flashlight or anything, and all of a sudden something was in the bushes behind me. That scared me to death because I wasn't expecting it. And it's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be scared," and stuff. And then saw what Chris saw. It was just amazing. She was obsessed, by the way. It was like, just like this. Her eyes were just big. She was just, I was like, "Oh, you go, girl." I was too tired. I couldn't stay up. And then when I was walking back to my cot last night, I was looking down towards the wood pile. It's like the wood pile was glowing. And then, Saturday night, the coyotes went off. It was just amazing. You just don't realize it, do you, until you hear it. It's just awesome. Then I heard them that morning again, and then I heard them again this morning, real early, and it's just been an amazing adventure. Thank you for meeting everybody. You guys are all great. Thank you, Cynthia and Dr. J. What else was I going to say? I guess that's it.
Okay. Did you have an amazing time?
Oh, yes, I had an amazing time.
Just asking.
Oh, there is one other thing I wanted to
Yes,
say.
okay.
The reason that I came here is because I have a cabin, and I have been experiencing them. And this is something that I haven't shared with my significant other, so here we go. I was asleep one night, or woke up in the morning, and all of a sudden I heard a growl. And I thought, oh my gosh. I haven't talked, because I was up there by myself. It was just me and the dog. And I thought, who is playing jokes on me? I didn't tell anybody I was here. I haven't really told anybody about this up there. And then all of a sudden it spoke to me, and it said, I was assuming that it had told me what its name was, and I thought it was kayak, but then I realized after thinking about it was Jayak. And then I spoke to Dr. J about it, and he Zorth verified that yes, because what one knows, they all know. So I knew that I could ask him and find out, and sure enough, it really did happen. So that was just amazing. So this has just been an experience.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, guys, everybody.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, I'm Teresa. I'm from Vancouver, Washington. I'm a CPA, so this is pretty unusual for me. This is my first time out here. I am not at all a Bigfoot researcher. I stumbled into this pretty much by accident. I came out here really to experience the group, and with very little expectation, and knowing that Bigfoot and the Xanue were real. I had a few experiences Saturday night, and then last night I went to Saria and had my first hug, and I asked her to just help me to see. because I really wasn't seeing much. And when I opened my eyes, I saw her shimmer around me. And then when I came away, I was like, the whole ground around me and everyone was covered in a blanket, like just a white blanket. And I couldn't make out anybody. I couldn't make out any shapes. It was just like everything was covered in a complete blanket. It was a little disorienting. It was like walking through a fog, coming back to my seat even, just trying to figure out where I was going. And then coming, after sitting back down, seeing other people going back and having their experience, watching Terry have her experience with Surya. I watched just energy pouring on her. It was like, the only description I have is like watching dry ice pour down somebody. It was that kind of wave of energy just rolling off of her. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful experience, and I'm incredibly grateful. I can't even go back to I can't even go back to regular logical thinking after experiencing that.
Once you take that red pill, there's no going back to the blue pill world. Yeah? Okay. Okay.
So thank you very
Yeah.
much, Dr. J and Cynthia, for having me out here this weekend. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Hello.
Hi, I'm Alicia from Medford, Oregon, and I'm a repeat offender. This is my third time. I'm someone who's challenged to see the orbs or even just the twinkles. It's like, did I really see that? And peripheral and stuff. But I took one photograph the day that we got here, and I showed it to Dr. J. And it's just really interesting. There's a dark figure behind the wood stack. It's during the day, so I need to go back there and take another one. But last night, and when Chris was talking about the frogs and that area, well, I walked up to the restrooms with Natasha in the dark, and I was done. I was standing outside, kind of waiting for her, and there was a frog over in that area where you talked about, Chris. And in my mind, it would go, beep, whatever it does, and I would do it in my mind, and then it would do it, and then it stopped. And I was just like standing there like this, and then I went, meeting, and so it started up again. And I was thinking, oh, that was kind of fun. I'm like, oh, I'm talking with this frog in my mind. And now, and then the weirdest thing happened. All of a sudden, there was this really loud, I can't imitate the sound. It was like, or something, and then it did it again. Really loud. I seriously expected to hear commotion going on where everybody's sitting. I thought somebody's having a heart attack or something down there. And then I left Natasha and I went walking back and I took my wheel back and went back down there, and I sat down next to Melissa and I said, did you hear? I said, what was that sound? She's the only person that told me that they heard the sound was Wendy. And I'm thinking, what? I mean, it was so being standing right there, hearing the frog with what you experienced there. Maybe something was trying to get my attention, and so it's just all eye-opening here and heart-opening, and that's where I'm really going. I have faith that I will be able to see. You gave a wonderful talk about how to start looking for the red, and so I was doing that. I was looking over the wood pile last night. And it's like looking this way, and then somehow kind of goes in like this, and I was seeing like a red sky with branches, and it's like, am my mind making this up? I mean, it was really interesting. So I want to keep coming back and evolving my abilities so that I can see the shimmering images and all that. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I'm Jean from Lakewood, Washington, And I went to bed early last night, and I didn't really experience anything, I thought, but apparently during the night I was having a tremendous conversation. Don't know with who, don't know what I said, can't remember a thing. And I guess at some point during the night I woke up and I heard something behind me, and I kind of looked to the side a little bit because it's hard to see. And there was somebody standing there. What they were doing and why they were there, I have no idea. Just this dark figure. And I fell back to sleep, and I pray before I go to sleep, so I fall asleep in prayer many times. And at one point I woke up again and I looked to my right, and I couldn't understand what I was seeing because it looked like a screen. My whole world had become pixelated. It looked like I was looking at little black dots everywhere, but they were all perfectly aligned. And I didn't know what that was, but I blinked my eyes a few times and I thought to myself, oh boy, I think I'll just go back to sleep. So I fell back to sleep, and I did see some twinkling in a tree that's kind of over my bed area, and I didn't hear any voices, no stomping. I didn't even hear coyotes, but I just went back to sleep. And I have had the most wonderful time of my life. And I want to thank you both, Cynthia and Dr. J. Love you both. And I would like to come back again. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. We'd love to have you back. Ho, ho, ho.
Hi, I'm Ron. Ho, ho, that's interesting. Ron. My name is Ron,
Oops. And that's the battery. Go ahead.
and sometimes referred to as Father Christmas, which I do every Christmas. I go back to the first day we arrived here, our first night. I've been having problems with this leg. It's been very sore. I could not do this, Friday night, but I can do it now. That night, I went into my sleeping bag. I halfway zipped it up, threw a blanket on top of me, and I had trouble finding a comfortable position because this was always just this constant pain. So I finally found a comfortable position, fell asleep. Woke up in the morning, straight through, still in the same position. My sleeping bag was unzipped all the way down to the bottom. It was down on the ground, on the side, flipped over, but I was covered with the blanket. And I don't know how that's physically possible, but it was. And since then, my leg's been getting better and better. The pain's not there throbbing anymore, so that was Friday night. Now, last night, every time I come here, this is the third time, it's been magical. And I really love you guys for doing, what you are doing. So last night, I went to the wood pile before everybody really got there, and I addressed Zorth and Cantu and the others, and thanked them also for all that they've been doing to helping us connect with them. I had conducted an experiment, which we're going to go through later, and I wanted to thank them again if they have already connected through this artwork that everyone has done. And I got this message. Go to 3. Go to the 3 o'clock. So I went, okay. So I took my chair, I went up, took my chair, and parked it in front of the 3 o'clock. I thought, oh, maybe I'm going to see something really interesting tonight. And I waited there for a while, and then I kept getting story. And I apologize if some of you heard me talking out there in the woods, but they really wanted me to tell them a story. So I went down this beautiful lighted pathway. I went almost to the end, sat down on the ground, and I said, okay, come closer. I'll tell you all a story. I started telling a story and I could feel this energy field coming closer and closer to me. And at some point I saw, I perceived like a face glowing, going, fading out, fading in. Here another one, fading in, fading out. And at one point there was one that was constantly fading in and out at one place. And I got a feeling that I wanted to hold my hand. So I held out my hand and I couldn't feel anything physically touching my hand, but I could feel a pressure. So I went, okay. So I continued the story, and then I perceived coming down the trail a silhouette, because of the lit pathway, a silhouette of someone approaching. And then they disappeared in the shadows. So I continued the story, and when I finished the story, this being started crying and laughing, crying, laughing, laughing. And I said, well, come closer, come closer. And I could tell it was a female voice, and I'm not sure who it was. Was it one of you people that came down that trail and sat next to me?
No.
It was you? Oh, okay, thank you. I was like, who is you? And for some reason, I couldn't hear. It's like there was a pressure around my head that I couldn't hear what she was saying. I had to get right up to you to be able to hear what you were saying. And then we talked a little bit and started laughing a bit more. And then some other couple came up the pathway, and that's when I had ended the story. And they wanted to have me tell them another story, and I just said no. It's 2 stories this time, and it'll be saved for the next time I do come here again, another story. But that was my evening.
Awesome. Thank
That's
you.
it. And I want to thank everyone else for participating in this experiment. We're going to see what results. I've already heard a few people's comments on what happened to them and earlier this morning, and I'm excited to look at what you all produced. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, babe.
Hello, I'm Cynthia Kreitzberg, and I'm from here.
Yay.
Home sweet home. Amazing light show. Lots. Where I was sitting, Saria and Cantu were down in kind of an alcove to my right, and so I was watching people go down there, watching the energy patterns on some of the people were just amazing. There were geometric patterns, there was the flow. I saw a little bit of the dry ice kind of flowing. And then I was communicating with my daughter, so I went up so I wouldn't bother people with the light from my phone. And coming back around the end between the chairs and the bushes, I ran into one of the Xanue, backed up against the bushes there. So we kind of danced around each other, and I sat back down. And we had kind of a web of lights that would come out from where Cantu and Saria were, right in front of us, and Terry was sitting on the ground in front of us. And when we reached out, the sparkles would dance around her hands. We're seeing periwinkle lights this time, which is something a little bit new. Haven't seen that shade before. Just lots of energy, and most of all, thank you all. Just a tremendous amount of love. And so thank you all for that. Alrighty.
So, thank you everybody for coming here. This has been an awesome summer of Camp Xanue experiences. If you were not able to make it here this summer, we hope to see you next summer. There's going to be lots of opportunities in the future for everyone to participate. One of the most important things that I try to emphasize for anyone that comes here is not only all these experiences that you've just watched on the YouTube video and listened to, but also the fact that the Xanue tell people that if a kind person with a good heart and an open mind reaches out to them, they'll reach back. Okay, so kind person, good heart, open mind, reach out, they'll reach back. But also, they're here to help us make connections. They're here to help us connect with God, to connect with our neighbor and ourselves. Love God, love our neighbor, love ourselves, and to be good stewards of the earth that God gave us to look out after. So when people walk away from Camp Xanue, hopefully they have walked away with a renewed commitment to love God, love their neighbor, love themselves, and to be good stewards of the earth. And when they walk away from here, they'll walk away having made those connections with people here and stay in touch with them after their departure. So anyway, we missed you not being here this summer. Hopefully we're going to see you again. If you have not watched any of the other videos on my YouTube channel, and this is the very first video you have come across, then I want to encourage you to scroll down, Keith Leiser, scroll down, and start with the oldest video and work your way up. And no cheating, Keith Leiser, okay? Talking to you, buddy, okay? So anyway, everybody else, love you. Thanks for being here. You guys all had a good time? Yeah! Okay. This is Dr. J signing off. See you next summer. Bye.